Hey, and welcome back to Trevor in the 80s. Today we're going to look at a 1989 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade machine by Konami that I was able to buy this from one of my old high school hangouts. Kind of like that one Seinfeld episode when George bought the Frogger from the pizzeria he hung out and played back in high school. So we're going to look at this arcade machine. I'll tell you kind of a little story about it. We'll go look at where this place was where I bought it. And we'll look at it some more detail today. Alright, so this machine was made in '89. And I don't remember exactly what month or what day these machines actually hit the market and we're out there in the malls and bowling alleys and skating rinks and all that stuff. But first time I remember seeing this game in person was probably early 1990, and it was at a skating rink in Florence, South Carolina, where I lived at the time. I had just moved there. Anytime a group of us would go to the skating rink to roller skate and have a good time, this machine was in there. So I was introduced to this game back then. I was in 4th grade, and I put a lot of quarters into this machine as a kid. Eventually moved from Florence to Columbia in the fall of '95, and a couple of miles down the road from where I lived in Columbia was a Dollar Theater, which was, I think it's been around since 1983. So I was in high school, I think around 10th grade, and I would go to the Dollar Theater, and this machine was in there. It was kind of to the left of the restrooms, if I remember correctly. Had a lot of fun playing this game. I hadn't seen it in many years until I moved here. I probably stopped playing this game, I don't know, somewhere around 93, 94. And then when I moved here and saw the game again, I hadn't seen it in a couple of years, so I thought, I think I'll put some quarters in it and play it again. And I always had fun playing it, fighting Bebop and Rocksteady and Shredder and all that. But this machine sat inside the St. Andrews Cinema. I think they changed the name of it every couple of years. I think when I moved here it was called St. Andrews Multi-Cinemas and Games. And then it turned into Spotlight Cinemas. But everybody just called it the old Dollar Theater. That's what we called it. But this machine sat in there for a long time, and I guess they'd had it since it came out. But somewhere in the early 2000s, right after I finished high school in '98, a couple of years later, anytime I'd go to the Dollar Theater to watch a movie, this machine was always unplugged, sitting by the restrooms with a great big out of order sign right here on the screen. So it sat there for years with an out of order sign on it, and I used to bug the manager to sell it to me, and he would always say, I'm going to get it fixed. I'm going to get it fixed. I don't want to sell it. I'm going to get it fixed. So this machine sat there in the early 2000s for several years with an out of order sign on it. And I knew the guy was never going to fix it. But I did play this game, golly, for 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, all the way up, I don't know, somewhere around 2004 or 5, maybe. The game went out of order, and it just sat. And I always had fun playing it. Anytime I wanted to see a movie, I would kind of go early so I could get a drink, some popcorn, and I'd play this game for a while. And anyway, so after it sat for several years with an out of order sign on it, then the machine, they turned it around backwards, and all you saw was the back of the machine in the same corner, and it sat there for a few more years. And again, anytime I saw the manager of the theater, I would say, "Hey, what's up with that Ninja Turtle machine? It's been unplugged for years. Sell it to me. Let me try to fix it up." "No, I'm going to fix it one of these days." So then a couple of years after that, I went in there one day and it wasn't even in there at all. I didn't even see it. So I asked for the manager, and he told me that they had moved it down the hall and put it into a room, like a storage closet. And I said, "Man, I've been coming in here since the early 2000s asking you about buying that game, and you keep saying you're going to fix it. It's been many years, and you're obviously not going to fix it." I said, "How about sell it to me?" And I just threw a number out. I think I said $400. I said, I'll buy it for $400, cash money. And he said, "Well, you know it don't work." I said, "Yeah, it's been out of order for years, but it's probably just a TV or a power supply. I don't know. That's a chance I'll take." And he kind of rubbed his chin for a second and said, "Okay, $400 cash." And I said, "Yep, I'll be back in a few minutes." And I left. I borrowed a neighbor's truck, and I came back. I've got the game in a corner at home, kind of not how I want it to be displayed right now, but I'll show you the full sides later. Anyway, I borrowed a neighbor's truck, went back, and gave the guy $400 cash for the machine. He wrote me like a little bill of sale, and that was it. Took it outside on a little dolly and put it in the back of my neighbor's truck. Took it home, and thankfully I've got two really good friends that own an arcade video game store in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Joe's Video Games. Joe's Classic Video Games. I called them up and told them what I did, and they said, "Yeah, man, bring it up here and drop it off, and we'll take a look at it and get it working." And I said, "Cool. I'm not in a time. I'm not in a big hurry for this thing. I finally got it. So take your time, and kind of hopefully it doesn't cost too much." So I dropped it off with Ron and Joe, and I think they did a video of this game on their channel many years ago, and I'm just getting around to doing this here. But it needed a new monitor, and I think they repainted all the black areas because kids would kick these things over time. Kids would kick them and all that stuff and scratch them up, and they wouldn't clean their hands after eating popcorn and stuff and then playing the game. So they cleaned it up, and but all these are the original buttons and controllers. It's got a new monitor in it, but everything else is original in the game. It works great. I play it a lot. I still have it. So we're going to take a look here in a second. And yeah, that's a jukebox over there. It's a 1988 Rockola, and we'll look at that in another video. But anyway, we'll take a look at this game. Some more cool features about it. This one is the one that lights up neon green. I think it's pretty cool. Kind of looks like it's radioactive. Anyway, Alright, we're going to take a trip now up the street to what's left of the old Dollar Theater. And I'll tell you a quick story, and we'll see what it looks like today and all that good stuff. Alright, so make sure to like and subscribe below. We're going to have a lot more of these kind of videos coming soon. Fun old stories and things from the 80s and sometimes early 90s. Thanks. Alright, here's the old Dollar Theater. It says a church called Elevation Church is coming soon to take over the building, but old Dollar Theater. Of course, we're driving my old spare car, my 78 Dodge Monaco. Kind of like to drive it on weekends sometime. Here's what it looks like today. Today is June the 1st, 2024. And this is the old St. Andrews Multi-Cinemas and Games. The building has changed colors over the years. When my family moved here in 1995, in the fall of 95, the buildings always had the same shape. But when you came in the parking lot like this and approached it from the side, this area here with that big glass window there, that was a game room. They had like pool tables and things in there. About the time I first started coming here, they were starting to close this area off. So I'm guessing in the early 90s and especially the 80s, there was a lot more machines and a lot more activities in this whole section here. They had the movie posters. Movie posters were on this wall, running down with the frames with all the blinking lights. That was along this wall here. So maybe somebody will watch this video and chime in from who has more knowledge of maybe this place actually in its prime in the 80s and early 90s. But like I said, this was always a big closed off, a big room, and I think that's where they had like bigger machines, maybe air hockey and pool tables and stuff like that. They were starting to close this area off, like I said, when I started coming here to hang out. But anyway, so yeah, where all these little dots, these circles are on the wall, you can kind of see these faded circle areas. Each one of those was like, I think people always called it a Pac-Man. You can kind of see faded, a big, I get it. I mean, it would be cool if it was supposed to be Pac-Man eating dots, but I think it was just a design of like an arrow kind of pointing you towards the door to buy a ticket. Because the circles are small and getting bigger, like an arrow. That's what I always thought. But some people would say the big Pac-Man on the wall eating the dots, but I don't know. Anyway, all those little square outlet boxes, that was where all the movie posters would plug in, all along here. I guess from the edge of that big dot, the big circle that looks like a Pac-Man, from there to the end would be where all your theater posters would be hanging up. I think this cinema had 5 rooms in it, 3 on the right and 2 on the left, and so you had 5 movie posters with, you know, now showing. Anyway, I don't know when this is going to turn into a church. I haven't seen any trucks up here working or any crews working up here. It's just kind of, and I think the theater shut down. The last movie I ever saw here was a King Kong versus Godzilla in summer of 21. Somewhere around there was the last time I came up here. Here's the old ticket box. So anyway, put the car in park. So I would come here as a teenager, buy my ticket here, go through these doors, and go straight back That's where my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle machine sat for years out of order. Of course, I played it for years until it went out of order, but this is where I bought it from. So if you ever watch this video and you lived in Irmo and you played the Ninja Turtle machine in the Dollar Theater, I now own it. I've had it for 11 or 12 years now. I bought it back in, I got it back in November of 14, I think. So yeah, almost 10 years. Anyway. Yep, I brought it, when I bought it, it came out of those doors right there, those double doors that says do not enter. We opened up those doors and brought it out here. And I remember watching one of the first movies I ever saw here was a movie called Get Shorty. I saw U.S. Marshals. I mean, all the movies in between. The last movie was King Kong versus Godzilla. There used to be a manager. It might have been the guy that sold me the Ninja Turtle machine. He was a little short guy and a bald-headed guy, and he wore like an old fedora, like a 1940s looking fedora hat all the time. Little slim, slender guy. And I don't know, he was real strict. I don't remember his name. I'm gonna turn around here, so I'll just keep talking. Anyway, the guy was real strict, and he would come out in the parking lot at night with a big flashlight, and he'd walk around in the parking lot and like walk up to cars and shine his flashlight in cars and tell you to move along and all kinds of stuff like that. So me and some friends from high school, sometimes we would come here. You know, I'm sure there was a bunch of kids that came here that, you know, acted a fool and misbehaved and stuff like that. But a lot of us just came and saw a movie, and we came out and sat in the car, and you're trying to crank your car up, eat the rest of your candy or gummy bears or whatever, and the dude was already like, he was already up on your car with the flashlight, asking you what you're still doing here. And like, man, chill out, we're leaving. But anyway, I saw that a few times, not all the time. But, yep. Old St. Andrews Multi-Cinema and Games, as it looks. June the 1st, 2024. Soon to be a elevation church. Whatever that is. Hopefully it's a good solid Bible church, not some fly-by-night, whatever. But anyway, that's supposed to be what's coming here. And a lot of good memories here over the years. Like I said, I was fortunate enough to buy the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 1989 4-player arcade machine from inside of this theater. And I still have it, and I don't plan on ever selling it. And anyway, if you've never seen the Seinfeld episode, I think it's in season 8, where George Costanza buys a Frogger machine out of the pizza hangout Mario's, where he used to go in high school, and he had the high score still, and him and Kramer had to come up with a way to unplug the machine without losing his high score and get it across the street to his apartment and set it back up. And if you remember that character, he didn't have a lot going for him in life, so it was a big deal that the one thing he did have was he did have the high score on the Frogger machine, and that was his claim to fame. Anyway, it was a funny episode, and we can insert a few clips of it here for nostalgia and research purposes.
Hey, Jerry, remember Frogger? I used to be so into this game.
Getting that frog across the street was my entire life.
Yeah, and then you went on to... That's a good game. Hey, look at the high score, GLC. George Louis Costanza. That's not you, is it?
Yes! 860,000! I can't believe it's still standing! No one has beaten me in like 10 years!
I remember that night.
Oh, I was unstoppable. Well, I'm doing it, Jerry. I'm buying the Frogger machine. Now the torch will burn forever.
Fabulous. See, now you're really doing something.
So, you want to come down to Mario's Pizza with me and help me pick up the Frogger?
Hey, how are you going to keep the machine plugged in while you move it?
What?
Once you unplug the machine, all the scores will be erased.
You're right. Why must there always be a problem? You think just once I could get a break? God knows I earned it with that score!
Well, come on, George, I'll help you push it across.
Wait a minute. This looks familiar. This reminds me of something. I can do this.
By yourself?
Jerry, I've been preparing for this moment my entire life.
Looks like a frog. So do you.
Game over.
But anyway, this is it, man. If you have any questions, just put them up below. And I haven't been up here in a while, just kind of taking it in. I think this theater, I read online that it opened in the summer of 1983. And you know, maybe every 5 or 10 years, a different ownership would take it, so the name would change. But when I moved here in '95, it was St. Andrews Multi Cinemas and Games, and then it became Spotlight Cinemas. But like I said, everybody just called it the Dollar Theater. Even though it went from $1.50 to $2 to $3, you still called it the Dollar Theater. Anyway, good times, good memories. And I'm lucky enough to own the Ninja Turtle machine that came out of this place. I still have it, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a good stress reliever. But thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe below. I've got all kind of random stories and hobbies and things that I'm into. Old games, old cars, old stories, true stories that happened, things that me and my friends did when we were kids. Just a lot of different stuff. So stay tuned, and you never know what's going to come up next. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.